out there. Why don't I just start playing?
You could. Just give me a second.
We just took it up a little something here so I can see the comments. We forgot about that. So we're gonna get started here in 1 second. I've got special guests today, Mr. Mike Dana and Mr. Todd Johnson.
How about now?
We just got back from camp. Yeah, got it now. So here we go. I'm going to play a little tune from the camp.
You're good to go.
Well, we were off to a shaky beginning, but now here we are. So that particular song was Shiny Stockings, and we had that at our jazz camp, and we just finished all that. Big fun. And we're going to have Mike and Todd here. So I just want to say hi to a couple people. Argyle, how do you develop picking lightly with minimal movement? Put on a seatbelt so you're not scooting all around, you know. You just want to maybe turn the volume up on your amp so it forces you to pick softer. Jacob, how you doing, Jacob? I've been skimming the foam off my coffee press, and it's been working great. It's not as bitter. You're right about that. Also, I used to boil the water at 220 or whatever it was. Now, 202 makes great coffee. David. Hi, David. And Tom, thank you for joining us. And Jimmy Rolfe. Oh, sweet Jim Rolfe. And Jim attended our camp. I think he had a wonderful time. Dave, Mike, hey, nice to see you. And Kirby. Hey, Kirby, what's happening, man? And Tosima, hello. Mike, Atco, New Jersey, nice to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Hey, we're going to take the trolley. Are we going to be ready with Mike and Todd?
Yeah.
Why don't we just cut to the chase? Let's get Mike and Todd in here.
Stand by.
Stand by. Brazilian, bossa nova, samba, and blue note jazz. Hi, Rich. That's a big name there. All right, here we go. There they are. Can we hear you?
Hi, Rich.
I'm just playing. I'm here.
Oh, well, thanks a lot.
Wait.
Thanks a lot, Todd. Come on, don't be doing that, you guys. You're freaking Wes out.
Sorry,
Hey, how you been?
But I've been good. How about you guys? I miss you already. It's been days.
Days, hours even. I'm counting the hours, but
Yeah.
it's, camp's always great. I'm always ready to get home, and then I'm home about 3 days. I'm ready to go back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. It goes by so quick. It's like, I can't believe how quick it goes. And it gets faster every year.
Yeah.
And it's
true.
smoother. The camp is smoother every year, don't you think? Just we all know what we're doing, and which is kind of a switch.
Yeah, kind of weird.
Yeah. So, have you been seeing some of the videos that Wes has posted?
I have not.
Oh, yeah, they're on YouTube. So, we're going to have to get them on that Facebook page. We'll do that.
Okay.
I first off want to say, hey, Matt, what a pleasure it is that you two guys decide to show up every year. Really, I'm really blessed to have you guys there because I really don't have to do much then. You guys just handle it.
Well, for me, it's a real treat. I've been one of the 3 guitar faculty for several years now, and it's always fun. And then as a guitarist, it's great for me to hang out with Rich, obviously, but also whoever that third person is. And this year it was Ron Eshfe, which was a super treat for me and probably for Todd too, because you guys go back super far.
Yeah.
And it's just, I do a lot of other summer jazz programs, but this is the only one I do that's sort of guitar and bass centric, and it focuses on that. And there's just something really cool about hanging out with like 40 like-minded individuals, and everybody's kind of on the same road, but at different places. and the camaraderie and the hang and the playing is really great. It's a super nice week in my year.
Yeah, yeah. You know, we've seen a lot of these guys, you know, especially me and Todd, for decades, maybe. They keep coming back. And what a glutton for punishment.
Yeah.
But they keep coming back, and gosh, it's like going to a family reunion or something. You know, and then we get to hang out and talk guitars, and you get to see their growth, which I think is really phenomenal. The growth.
Yeah, I've noticed that over the years, and
Yeah.
it seems like it's almost like an infusion. You know, people go for the 51 weeks out of the year, and then for this 1 week, it's this super intense infusion of new tunes and new techniques and new ideas. And then ideally, the students have, you know, almost a whole year to absorb and digest and put all that stuff into practice. So it's a great week.
Yeah, yeah, it sure is. So there's our C group there, and so gosh, what do we have, 7 guys or 6, 7 guys in that group?
They can't see what you're looking at, by the way.
Oh, they can't.
No.
Who can't? Mike and Todd.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, yeah, there's a picture of the C group there, and we're looking at them, and they're all busy playing. But, yeah, those guys, guys like Kirby and Pat Evans. Pat Evans has made a lot of strides over the years, and it's crazy because he started playing very late in life, like he was 70 or 72, 73, something like that.
Oh.
Isn't that crazy? So most all of our students are guys that used to play. Oh, there's Kirby and Ron Eshtay in the party room. You guys can't see them, but I can tell you about them. By the way, Todd, tell them about the party room.
The Koopman room, famous in legend and song, and the Echo camp where we're at, and it's nice after a long day of real intense study and work and focus. It's hard to focus for 12 hours a day. You know, it's kind of tough on us old guys, but it's great. And when we're all done, then we put everything down and we can go to the Koopman room. We can have an adult beverage and a snack and just relax and stare or talk or have a cigar or whatever it takes. Just kind of relax and I think the hardest I laugh all year, every year, is one of the nights in the Koopman room. Yeah. My favorite being of all time, and it's a shame we didn't get it on. Somebody didn't film it, but when
I
Rich,
did.
no, you didn't film this one. This was a few years ago, and Rich, you were telling a joke about a guy and singing tunes, and Mike, you had some ukulele or something, and you were providing the soundtrack to the whole thing, and there was just a room of grown men crying. We were laughing so hard. And about 30 seconds left in the joke, I realized Randy Whiting had the video camera in his hand the whole time and never turned it on, and he was like, why didn't I record it? Funniest thing I ever saw in my life. It was great. Yeah. But
I wish I remember what we did.
You know, it's nice because we work real hard, and then we relax real hard, and then we pass out, and we get 6-7 hours sleep, and we get up and we do it all over again. I mean, it's a great week. One of my friends asked me yesterday at the gym. He said, "So how was your trip?" And I said, "Well, it was inspiring and exhausting all at the same time." But what a great worthwhile investment. It might.
Here's some video of the Koopman room. Wes just threw it up there.
Okay.
Sorry, to cut
okay.
you off. Anyway. Well, yeah, okay, that's probably enough of that. Yeah, there's everybody there. There's a bunch of people there. So we just go and hang out. Like Todd said, it's a great evening just to blow off steam and relax for a few minutes and just talk about whatever. We're still talking about music, most everybody, and players we admire and all that. And so it's a really fun time. One of the things that I thought was really cool this year is the performance on Thursday night, which was exactly a week ago.
Yeah.
Was everybody stepped up their game and just really did really well. There's some video of the performance. One of the couple of guys, there's Kevin and that's Randall on bass, and there's Gary Newberg. Boy, we sure work Gary, don't we? God.
That guy, he's like he's like your secret weapon, Rich, for the camp, because he's not like officially faculty because there's no drum component to it. But he was able to be there for a bunch of stuff during the day, which isn't always the case. But he's up there every night playing, and just for the people that haven't been to the camp. So on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, the students pair up with, maybe 2 or 3 guitarists and a bassist. And then Gary joins them, and then they play whatever the tune is that they have been working on that day. And so it's a great opportunity for them to put into practice the stuff they've been working on. And Gary's just such a super trooper, and he, whatever tempo and whatever little twists and turns the students might throw his way, Gary just navigates through those waters like it's nothing. It's great.
And the grooves, Todd, your bass players they're all so talented, and you've really drilled in to them playing the right notes, playing the groove, and boy, that has been really a blessing when you get Gary and some of Todd's students playing. And that, geez, what a groove! Good grief.
Well, yeah, it's really nice because for a lot of people, Gary's going to be by far and above the greatest drummer they're ever going to get to work with. And to work with a top shelf drummer like Gary is a big deal for everyone. It's a big deal for you and I and Mike, I suspect, still at this point.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, and it's one of those things where everybody should get to fly first class at least once in their life. Everybody should get to sit in the pod and have their feet massaged in the champagne and the really top-notch food. And every musician should get to play with a top-notch professional drummer. So it's one thing nowadays we can play with the band and the boxes and the iReal Pros and drum machines and all kinds of cool stuff. But there's no substitute for a real musician that plays as well as Gary does, and there's just all the little unspoken things, the human musical cues that Gary plays that we can't get the machines to do yet, and so I make a real point of everybody to pay attention to that. And I'd like to add one thing. The group that I had this year was above and beyond the best overall the best prepared group. I had a couple individuals had some business things come up, and they didn't have massive preparation time. Everybody else came in; they could play all 6 of the tunes.
Yeah.
And it was really cool. We made up band in the box play-alongs, and we took the bass part out, and they could play along and do the thing. And the first thing I would do when I would start teaching a tune, I said, "Fellas, let's start with the end in mind. Let's just play the intro and the melody together," and we would all do it, and everybody knew the tune. 3/4 of the guys had the material memorized. They weren't really reading the music, and it was nice. Everyone was so prepared that now the car is painted. Now all we got to do is polish it the rest of the week, and it was really nice. We could get into some of the inside baseball on some of the little things that go from just notes to music, and so it was, as a teacher, it was really a privilege to have people who were that invested and worked that hard to prepare. So I got to teach some stuff I normally don't get to teach, and so it was a great time.
They were super prepared. You did an excellent job getting them ready.
They did the work. It's easy. I can present them every year we present material to them, and it doesn't always get prepared. They did the work. All I did was put it in front of them.
Yeah.
So kudos.
And for the folks that might be watching that haven't made it to one of the camps yet, Rich and Todd, I guess both, did a really great job of picking 6 or 7 tunes, whatever it was. That are, some of them are, a little bit more accessible. Some of them are a little bit trickier. So whatever level group that the student might be in, they had music that, it was challenging for them, but it wasn't over their head. It was something that they could work on and get. And then there are also tunes that have a lot of cool things in them. So as one of the teachers, like Have You Met Miss Jones, for instance, is a great tune, but the bridge has got a couple of left turns in it, and so it's a chance for me as a teacher to really kind of take those students hopefully to another level in the bridge of that tune. But all the tunes have something kind of cool about them, and they're all tunes that you hear on recordings, and people call them at jam sessions. So it's not like we're playing some weird, like we're not playing an original of one of ours that nobody's ever heard before. And I think that's a really good bonus, that everything we're doing is based on tunes that people know.
Yeah, that format took us a while to get onto because but now I think we have the format down, that all the jazz ideas and the chord shapes and all that good stuff and the bass lines can be found within a song. And then those songs, those changes exist in all the other jazz songs you're ever going to play. So, not verbatim, but they're bits and pieces. So I think they can walk away with something real cool. Yeah. One of the things that I thought was real special is we had the A group doing rhythm changes. Rhythm changes are kind of funny, when the chords are cool and a lot of alterations, you can play in B flat scale and everything's fine. But if you want to blow through the changes, you really got to know what you're doing. And I felt the guys were stepping up to that, and I could hear between just what, they were able to do a couple things that we had showed them during the day, and they got up and did it. It's crazy.
Yeah, anytime you can learn something that day and apply it at night, that's a gift from above, man.
Yeah.
I think everybody. Here's something I would encourage everyone that's going to come to the camp, because hopefully a bunch of people are. We'll speak in the positive, but at the very least, you come to camp and you gather a ton of information. As Tommy Tedesco said, you fill your wheelbarrow full of music and you take it home and you work on it. But there's always some gems that you can go, wow, that's cool, and then that are almost always applicable. That's a big word for me.
Good job.
And you can apply it immediately. Yeah. And so being able to learn something and play it that night is a big deal. That's a big victory, and it's nice that we all get to see that in various stages for everyone, at night. So for a teacher, that's one of our big rewards. So
yeah, Russell, Rainey, Lee, Donnelly, they did a couple things that I showed them the afternoon. It was like, wow, and it was kind of cool, So, and then I noticed, the first night when the students get up there, the very first night, everybody's nervous, and we always say, if you can play in front of this group, a group of your peers and teachers, you can play anywhere. And So, but when they get up that first night, there's no doubt about it, the nerves set in. But do you guys notice, like on Thursday night, when now they're playing out in the public, you know, we're still there, but we're at a winery playing. Boy, they just pulled it right together. I didn't see the big nerves like we did in the first night. And
Yeah.
that was nice to see.
And you know, and I noticed that too. In fact, I can't remember the guy's name, but there's somebody who whose friend said, "Hey, so and so, this is the first time they'd ever played in public ever," and it was it wasn't the Thursday night; it was one of the nights before. And I just thought that was really cool. And then the other thing that Rich
Charlie.
mentioned, Charlie.
Yeah.
And Rich mentioned that we played this gig at the winery, so probably everybody's familiar with Yosemite National Park. So just on the southern end of that is where this sort of a camp retreat kind of place is. And it's just really pretty, and it's right there in the mountains. And then the gig on Thursday night is at a winery that's in the little town that's just a couple miles down the road from where the camp is. And it's just such a nice vibe. You know, and winery gigs are always fun, and people are super relaxed, and it's a beautiful place. And, you know, a couple folks had, you know, their families there with them, or their spouse and a kid or something. And it was just really cool. There's a lot of beauty around there, in addition to what we're doing at the camp during the day and in the evening. That's really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, and the facility that we have is just a knockout facility. And like Martin, he comes there, and every day he's out walking and stuff. And he just loves it. He gets outside and he goes exploring and stuff. This is before, I don't know how he does it. I don't know when he sleeps. That's before we even have breakfast and all that. So he really enjoys that.
Yeah.
I'm not as ambitious as that.
There's always next year, Rich.
Yeah, I like to just my exercise was dealt with trying to dodge the duck poop on the sidewalks. Yeah. and some of those you had to high jump over, those swans. It was a high jump deal, you know, so. Yeah. Oh, there's Charlie right there. That guy, you guys don't see him, guy in the blue shirt. You know, Aaron cracked me up, Todd. He was a younger guy, probably the youngest in your group, right?
Yeah, by far.
And but he was so excited, and he played with the teachers. And I think you were saying, I think that was a life-changing experience.
I think it was. I mean, the way he was, again, getting to fly first class. You know, he never got to do that. He got to play with arguably three of the best guitar players you're ever going to play with in your life at any one time, period. I mean, that's what it is. And so for a young kid who's self-taught, who finally, you know, he's learning the educational side and getting a little deeper past the jam band level, and to get up there and play with you guys and have some success, and to feel that playing with the three of you and Gary, you know, and man, that's I'm spoiled. I get to do that with you guys every night, but for the guys to do that, especially, I call him a kid. I think he's 30. He's he could be our son. You know what he said? He said, it's like being in a room with all my grandpas, with the rest of my bass players, because we're all around 60, you know, and we were all like, oh yeah, that's right, we're all 30 years older than you are.
There he is. There, we're showing a picture of him. Wes got that video up. Yeah. And I think he told Gail, he said, well, I've never played jazz before. He says, I'm going to go home and get in a jazz band, because he was playing funk or whatever he plays. I don't know. And boy, he just really enjoyed it. And
yeah, he's all fired up to increase study and learn more about harmony and theory, or harmony and tyranny, and you know, get his ears straining together and all that stuff. You know, and learning tunes. He's really fired up about it. So I'm excited to see what's in store for him.
Yeah. You know, most of our students have a similar background like most guitar players. They started off playing Beatles and Rolling Stones and the Cream and Jimi Hendrix and all that blues stuff. And then after a while they heard some jazz guitar. Maybe we heard it a little earlier in life than they did. And now it's like, wow, this looks like fun, and I can improvise and stuff, and I don't have to wear spandex and jump around the stage and all that stuff. I can sit out and just play my guitar, make music, you know. So I think that's where most of the guys are. They've been through the bands, except for a couple guys, you know. They've been through the band thing, and now they're into just doing sit-down jazz with a few players, and it's fun. You know, I want to talk about Ronnie. What a blessing to have Ronnie there. You know, good grief. What a history that guy. Tell the viewers a little bit about who he's played with.
Well, you know, well, I know he's played with, you know, Dizzy Gillespie, Sarah Vaughan, Ella Fitzgerald. He told me a great story playing with the Concord All-Stars, and he and Jeff Hamilton, I know, were in the rhythm section. And he said it was later on in Ella's life, and they literally wheeled her out on the stage at the This is the way Ronnie describes it. He goes, they wheeled her out, and they propped her up on a stool and handed her the mic, and Ronnie says, and she proceeded to dismantle the place. You know, and she just came out and killed everybody. And you know, so he's Diana Krall, I remember, you know, he's recorded with her. I saw him on the Tonight Show with her. You know, of course, Ray Brown took him under his wing a long time ago and had him on the Merv Griffin show and the LA4 and traveling with you know, Ray Brown and Milt Jackson and Mickey Roker. I've heard a bunch of those board tapes from those trips and all that kind of stuff. All the organ players, all the Joey G. Francescos and Groove Holmes and Jack McDuff and you know, all the I mean, it's just it's kind of, it just goes on and on and on and on.
It's mind-boggling. You know, where a lot of other guys have done a lot more of the pop stuff, you know.
Right.
But Ronnie has just played jazz.
Yeah.
Well, I know when he was a kid, he played rock and roll and stuff.
Sure.
But once he got the jazz bug, I mean, it was jazz all the way for decades and decades and decades and decades. And what a wealth of knowledge. And just to even be in his presence.
Yeah, and what he knows about harmony, you know.
Yeah.
You guys are no slouches, trust me when I say that. But what he knows about, what he's forgot about harmony, I'll be lucky if I ever know. You know, and that's just, I remember studying with him at when I was a bass student and he was teaching at GIT, and I took his chord melody class just to try to understand the processes, the way he thinks, the way he'd reharmonize all the things you are, or whatever song he was doing that week, and all those processes, and that's just level one stuff, what he taught there. And what I learned from him sitting next to him on the gig for 22 years, you know, he would play all that polychord stuff, and he'd say, hey, when you hear me do this, I want you to play one of those, and then you do this, and then and it was, you know, and after a while it got to be a kind of a Pavlovian experience. Every time I'd play the right thing at the right time, he'd look at me and go, yeah. I was like, good boy, good boy. And so, you know, wanting to get that praise in a sense, you know, I would do that, and he'd just be happy as a clam. So after a while, I learned how to give him what he wanted when he wanted it, and we didn't have to talk about it or rehearse it or work it out. I mean, that kind of musical intimacy and all that stuff and is that's a real treat. That's a real treat.
Yeah.
You know, good musicians, we can all learn, hear and adjust and listen and react, and that's the communication. That to me, that's the joy of jazz. You know, but or one of the highlights for sure. But he's a wealth of knowledge that and sorry, I don't mean to make this about me in any way, but I feel so privileged to have got to sit next to him for 21 years. The first weekend I worked with him, I was still a student at BIT, and he looks at me and he says, "Welcome to graduate school, son." You know, he literally did, and I'll never forget that. And then all these years later, I feel like over the next 21 years, I got my doctorate with him.
Yeah.
And so just, you know, and frankly, because of him, I got to play with all the other guys in LA, you know, the John Paisanos and the Jim Foxes and the Barry Zweigs and the Frank Potenzas and the Larry Kuntzes. And, I mean, just name all those guys. I got to play with most all of them. And then I get to play with you guys. And then, you know, it's just, I've been so rich in playing with like just top-notch guitar players. I don't know that I had any business playing with, but I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to take it and be grateful. But just a quick reference. I remember I had a week where I worked with Larry Kuntz, Frank Potenza, played with Mike Stern at MI on a clinic, and we mostly just played standards. And then the next night I played with Ronnie, and I thought, I pretty much, Lord, strike me dead, because I'm never ever going to have a better week than that, you know. And it was just. It was just overwhelming. So to spend a week being around all you guys and absorbing all the harmony and everything, and you know, it just doesn't suck. It doesn't suck at all.
Hardly sucks at all. Yeah.
So,
Well,
thank you, Rich. Thanks.
Well, thank you. So I thought it was really cool to have somebody of Ronnie's experience, and just of being able to even be in the same room, you know. So some of the guys, I know some of them knew exactly what I'm talking about. Some won't understand that until maybe a few years down the road. I don't know.
Yeah.
But eventually they will. And we got to hear him play, and we all played together, and we had a good time. We had a lot of laughs, and that's what it's all about. You know, a lot of guys, when they come to camp, that's their vacation. That's the best thing they do, and that's what they tell me, you know. Man, I just can't wait all year for this. By the way, we've had several people already sign up for next year, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Todd. They're showing a picture of Todd playing the bass. So anyway, you guys, I want to thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. Is there any last thing you guys would like to say before we cut it off? I've had you way too long.
Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I would like to, you know, there's probably some people watching that have thought, you know, that sounds really cool. It never worked out in my schedule, or for whatever reason, I just haven't done it yet, but gosh, that sounds cool. And I just want to encourage you, you know, I know for a lot of folks, studying jazz guitar and jazz bass is something that, you know, that is maybe different than your day job. And it's something that's very fulfilling to you and enriching. And so just imagine if you could take a week out of your life and really immerse yourself in that thing, and just I'm trying to think of the right word. It just seeps into your pores. I think just being around so many great players, and also your peers, you know, and just feeling like, hey man, I'm part of this thing. Yeah. And then when you go back to wherever home is, you feel invigorated, and it lasts for a long time. And then maybe when it starts to wear off, you start to get amped up for the next year. And so the circle of life continues. So if you've never been, I really hope you'll check it out. a lot of guys I'm sure watching study with Rich through guitar college, but just imagine like a total, what do they call it? A total immersion experience.
Yeah.
Like a sensory tank, or I don't know. I'm babbling, but you know what I'm saying.
I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, I hope they. I hope we have some more new faces. We had a lot of new faces this year, as well as a lot of old ones. So we got to wrap it up. I guess we're going to get cut off in a second. So again, you guys are really a blessing to me. Thank you so much for being at the camp and just having you there and
Hey,
bringing
Rich,
your A game and all that good stuff.
if I could, I'd just like to thank you and Gail and Wes for the incredible job you guys, because you guys do all the organizing behind the scenes, set up the websites, take care of the business end of everything. You guys do a tremendous job, and just to have been a part of it every year, please understand for sure from my spec, and I think I can speak for Mike, we truly appreciate what you guys do, and it's just it's a blessing and an honor, and I'm just not blowing any smoke to be part of that every year. And it's something that it's a target on the wall and something to shoot for and keep striving for, and we talk about how to improve the camp every year, and so I mean, just special thanks to you and Gail and Wes especially so for everything. So thanks.
Well,
for
look
putting
at you guys. We'll see you next year with a brand new show.
Okay, cool.
Thanks again for joining me. I guess you're
Anytime.
kicking us off.
See you,
Bye
Richie.
bye.
Bye. See you, Mike.
See you later, Todd. Bye, Rich. Bye, everybody.
Bye. So we have some questions. That camp is really something special, and so if you can find it in your schedule to make it next year, I'd advise you to get in there and get your spot. Put down your $200 down payments to secure your spot, and you'll have the time of your life. And you know what I tell the guys? As soon as they walk in the door, the very first thing that we say, it's something Quincy Jones said to all the artists in We Are the World. He said, "Leave your ego at the door," and the same is true with the camp. Leave your ego at home. And I'm not talking, nobody comes in there thinking, "Oh man, I'm so great. Wait till they hear me." It's the ego that says, "I don't belong here. Man, I suck. I'm terrible. I don't know this. I don't know that. That guy, that's the guy to leave at home, because we're all part of the same thing. We've all been, Ron Estee, Mike Dana played exactly like you do right now, except they moved on. So everybody, we all know where everybody's been and where they're at. Just musically, you can tell when they play. And so you leave that ego at home. Just come to have some fun and learn, spend some time, spend all day with your guitar. By the way, the food there is fantastic. We had wonderful food. So anyway, so let's see. We got some, what guitar was Mike Dana playing? That is an Eastman 146. It's a 16-inch solid body guitar, hollow, 1.5 inches deep. It's a guitar that I picked out from Eastman and I played it for a few years, and then I thought I'm not going to. I'm not using it anymore, so I sold it to Mike, and he's been playing it ever since. The son of a gun sounds good, doesn't it? I'm thinking about changing out my humbucker on my laminate arch top to maybe a P90. Can you talk about jazz pots and resistors? Well, I think you get a nice pure tone out of that P90. If you get one that just fits into a humbucker slot, then you can raise the top end, which I think needs to be done. I think it's a good move. I found these connectors, and I was going to bring them to show you, but I'll show them next week. That when you take a pickup out, you cut the wire instead of going all the way to the pot. When you cut the wire, you can clip these on, and they hold your wires really secure. Just plug in there, and you got another. Plug your new pickup in. It's very easy. No soldering required. Hit the thumbs up button. Yes, what was the deal with the time running out? Because we're not upgraded to a pro thing or something?
Yeah, that is correct. we do not have
You're
pro.
like going cuckoo back there,
Yeah.
guys. Got a lot of knobs going on and stuff.
I mean, God, that was a lot of work getting all that.
I know,
Up and
well, you
running.
went above and beyond showing all those videos.
Well, and then we had to. I brought all this gear to camp with me, so we had to
Yes,
reconfigure the whole studio basically this morning.
that's true. Yeah, so
And,
we got some beautiful footage. Wes got beautiful footage of
I
everything.
don't know about beautiful, but it's footage.
Well, it's a hell of a lot nicer than what we used to have. And the sound, too.
Yeah,
So-
the concert stuff came out good. The performances and stuff, yeah, those were good. But,
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna be posting more of those tomorrow through the weekend, probably in the next several. And then anyone who came to camp, I've uploaded about half of the stuff. So I'm hoping on Friday I'll send you guys all out a link, and you can get on there and download any of the performances you want, so you can save them for show your family or whatever. So that should be coming on Friday, hopefully. Yeah.
All right, good.
Yep.
Here's a question. Hey, Rich, is your quilter amp the regular Mach 2 or the Mach 2 HD? Oh, okay. No, the one I always use is an 8-inch. So the HD is a 12-inch. And it says HD on there. So I don't use that. As a matter of fact, I don't like the sound of it. But I like this little cub. Kind of shined. It's kind of a weird. You know, when I was playing it, I thought, I don't know if I like the sound of it. When I heard the playbacks, and I thought, what was I thinking? The playbacks, man, this amp sounds great. So anyway, but this has a 12-inch speaker, but it's a special design speaker, and it's very lightweight, and it's full range. Now, the 8-inch speaker in the quilter, you can't get that anymore, but it was a HD speaker. Wes, let's see.
Hold on. I'm trying to.
Is that a grandpa or a Santa Claus? Pat Evans is saying. What the heck who are you calling Santa Claus, Pat? Pat, how old were you when you started playing guitar? Let's see. Hello from Kansas City, Missouri. I've been there. I like that place. Kirby. Kirby, how you liking that new T59? That's a sweet guitar. I got that guitar for Kirby, and he got it. We had it at camp. He didn't play it at camp, but God has a sweet guitar. Do you have any exercises for getting better at using a pick and the 2-3 fingers for solo and chords? Todd looks kind of cool with a beard. You know, when I first had a beard, I didn't know if I liked it, but it grew on me. Isn't that funny?
No.
Wes, do you have any guitar news?
No. I don't. I have one thing to talk about today, but I don't have it ready right now. I've gotten other stuff
Well,
going on here.
we'll move into something else. There is a exercise in the morning. If you saw right after breakfast, one of the guitar instructors addresses all three groups, and we do usually some kind of guitar technique thing. Ron Estes said, "Oh, it's guitarmanship." That's what we used to call it at GIT. By the way, Ron was one of the first teachers at GIT. It was him, Don Mock, Joe DiArio, Howard Roberts, and I think Les Weiss. Not sure about that. But there was only, Pat, the guy who started it, Pat Hicks. That was it. So Ron goes back a long ways. Ron went to a seminar of Howard Roberts and sat down and played a bunch of Howard Roberts stuff. Howard turned to Pat Hicks and says, "You got to hire this guy right now." So that's what happened. That's how GIT got started, with Ronnie Este. Todd, look, let's see. Hey, Michael, we are neighbors. Oh. Play Stella. What? Hey, Rich, hello from France. Can you tell us one or two tricks to approach Jimmy Rainey? It's hard to nail Jimmy Rainey down because he is so articulate and he is so adventurous in his playing. I mean, I was just listening to him, ironically, yesterday, and I thought, man, that guy is just ideas coming out of him like crazy. Anyway, so no, I don't have any tricks to nail down Jimmy Rainey. I'm gonna do I've learned a song called Motion. I learned it many years ago. I'm gonna start playing that, get that going again. Maybe we'll do that next year. Am I missing anything, Wes? Oh, I was going to do this exercise. Should I? Yeah. Anyway, this exercise is this. Mike talked about when you sit down to learn to play something, there's three things that need to happen. One of them is, of course, you need to get your technique going. Number two is you need to know the names of the notes. Number three, you need to know you need to be able to sing it. If you're able to sing it, you're able to play it. If you're able to sing it, you're able to develop your ear. And then fourth, I guess there's four things, you need to be able to picture it on the staff. And if you can do that, you are really moving ahead. But here's one of the things he did. If we play an F scale, okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to play three little groups. We're going to play the first three notes of an F scale. That's 1, 2, 3, right? Then I could look at this and call it an F chord, say. Now, I'm going to start with here, and I'm going to play that group. Now this, I could look at this as being the 2 chord starting on G. La, 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 la. So here's the 1 chord. Here's the 2 chord. Now here's the 3 chord. Now you notice how there's 3 different fingerings. This first one's for a major. The second one's for a minor. This third one is for a minor as well. But I'm going to call that a modal minor. I don't know why I'm going to call it that. Or I'm just going to call it, you could call it Phrygian. I don't care what you call it. It's starting with the 3rd degree. So the fingering is going to be half step, whole step. Here was whole step, half step. Here was whole step. Now, for the 4th degree of the scale, I'm going to do, for the 5th degree, I'm going to do 2 whole steps. So if I connected the 4th, first, the fourth, and the fourth, they all have the similar finger pattern. You see that? Now, I'm going to start on the 6th degree, which is again minor. And then on the 7th degree is modal, we'll call it, or Phrygian, I don't care. I don't know what to call it. Okay, so you notice how E, F, G has the same fingering pattern as A, B flat, C. Now, you see that? Now let's play this pattern. Now, let's play now in the key of F, but let's keep it all in the 2nd string. So I'm starting with the note C here, right? Now that note is the 5th degree of the scale, so I could look at it like, well, that's the 5 chord. The next one is the 6th chord, the D minor. Next one is the 7 chord. So starting with the first note, first finger on the 7th degree. Now I'm back to the 1. Then the 2, which was minor. The 3. The 4 chord. 5 chord. 4 chord. 3 chord. 2 chord. 1 chord. 7 chord. 6 chord. 5th chord. Now I can do that on all the strings. Now if you think about it, let's play all of the F's, and we'll play the major form that you can find on the guitar. All right, now let's play all of the 2 chords starting on a note G. So find a G, find a G, find a G, find a G. Whoop. Find an A. Remember the A? So we're learning the F, the key of F, all over the neck, aren't we? Not just the scale pattern that we transpose all over, but this is all of the notes in the key of F. Starting on A, I do this modal sound. All has the same fingering, doesn't it? The 4 chord, B flat. The 5 chord, C, starting on a note C, play the major pattern. The D chord, D minor. Find all of your Ds. The 7th modal sound, starting on E. Find all your E's. Now, I just played everything in the key of F all over the neck, right? Now, that was a little ditty that I kind of did that I based off of what Mike showed. And I thought it was pretty powerful. All right. So then what I like to do is connect the 2 chord and the 6th chord because they have the same pattern. The 2 chord was G minor. The 6th chord was D minor. And so on and so on. You can do that, those patterns. The 3 and the 6 go together. Don't they? Right? So, anyway, does that make sense to you? I'm going to do a big lesson on that, and we'll see what happens, because I thought it was very powerful just to learn where all the notes in that one key are on your guitar. And you can do it by using the scale degrees and a tiny little pattern that go with it. Tommy Tedesco taught there for a short time during the beginning of, oh, of course, Tommy was there, sure. Rich, any advice for aspiring jazz musicians that would like a career in jazz but are concerned that there are so few jazz clubs and labels compared to years ago?
Yeah, start learning a different style of music. Learn some country licks.
Okay, so Motown Records is a perfect example, right? Motown Records, Berry Gordy went out and found the best jazz players he could find. And then what did they do? They played Motown, right? So I don't know what to tell you on that. There are several people who can make a living playing jazz. You're going to have to tour. You know, you can do it. It's doable, but you got to live in your car or whatever, but you can do it. You have to be good. You have to be great. I remember, I forget who told me this. He said, Rich, you're really good, but you're not great. In other words, you got to be great. So I don't know what to tell you. I would start locally, wherever you are, and become the main man jazz player, okay? Study from everybody you can. Teach. You can always teach. You got to be able to teach. By the way, one thing I've noticed, and I wanted to ask Todd and Mike about it, I feel like since last week, my chops have improved like crazy because just having your hands on the guitar all day. So teaching, very important. Teach whoever you can, you know. You can make a career in jazz, but there has to be a lot of revenue streams. Some jazz players become arrangers. Don't bother writing songs. They're not going to probably get placed. But you can be an arranger. You can be a producer. There's a lot of different things. Michael Stevens moving to New York would help. The scene is huge and touch. That's true. You got to go to where the gigs are and go. You got to go where the money is. You can't be in wherever. Mayberry, RFD, Mayberry, North Carolina, and expect to earn a living there. Kirby, okay. Anything? What am I missing, Wes? Is there anything in here we're missing?
No. Kirby, the T59 is a beauty. Love the antiquity pickups. Thanks for bringing it up to camp. Pat says, hey, Kirby, fun to see you at camp. You're really sounding good. Which you are, Kirby. You're sounding good, man, for sure. Brazilian, bossa nova, samba, and blue note jazz. I get body oils from my arms and hands on my guitar every time I play it. You once suggested McGuire's number 4. A luthier who came to camp even suggested lighter fluid. How do you keep your guitars so clean?
Well, number one, when you play, you got to have a long sleeve here, you know, or or you know, here's the area that's gonna get effective, you know. So you got to have a long sleeve there. That's one of the. I hate that feeling of having my skin on there, and then you can see this get real dirty. Meguiar's, yeah, I like Meguiar's. Something that's a cleaner, but it doesn't cut too deep. Be careful, you don't get something that. Don't get Meguiar's number 4. You want Meguiar's
Cleaner wax.
cleaner wax. That's what it is. Yeah, thank you, Wes. And then, or there's a spray. Fender makes a spray for pianos. It's right here. Very mild, leaves it shiny. It's made by Meguiar's. And it just gets the crap off of there without it digging into the finish. I got a guitar. Man, I got some guitars, right? And I just got a few more. I got this one guitar, a 1966 L4 with a floating Johnny Smith. And it was so, and I don't want to say dirty, but it was played in a nightclub for years. It looked, because it wasn't dirt, it was smoke. And I remember my guitars would get like that. It's smoke that would turn it all yellow. And Pat Flynn and I were talking about, he has an old Martin, same thing, total smoke all over it, you know. And so I saved the rag because I'm going to show it to you. But you want to get all that crap off your guitar. So, yeah, but don't over clean it, and be careful with if it's gold, you can take this gold finish off really quick.
Let's see. There's Rich just purchased a nice Eastman ER2. Love the guitar, but not crazy about the pickups. Any suggestions for pickup replacements?
Is that a humbucker? I assume it is. No suggestions. You got to experiment some, because you know, the Seth Lover, the Seth 59. What are you looking for? What aren't these pickups delivering? That you're thinking, what is missing? So try to go from that angle. What's missing in this sound? And you know, your amp has a lot to do with it. The guitar is only half the equation. It's the amp too. So find out what's missing. You might go dramatically to a single pole, to a P90 type thing that fits in a humbucker slot.
Tom asked, Rich, what do you recommend for playing more simply and more melodically?
Learning melodies, lots and lots of melodies, lots and lots of melodies. So, you know, you can just learn melodies. There's several. One thing that's easy to do is to do a string skip. So, you know, if you are always playing in a descending manner, it sounds scaly. Now, if you do a skip, you got to work your way back up. So in the key of B flat, let's say you go. So if I skip a string, force myself to skip a string. Go down. let's go to key of A minor. That's more melodic than. You know what I'm saying? So you want to. That's scale and arpeggio, but this. Has bigger skips, therefore it makes it a little more melodic.
Let's see what else we got here. Michael Caldwell bought a Stromberg Montreux recently based on your review. Nice axe. Thanks for the recommendation.
Very underrated guitar, yeah. Really nice, aren't they? Again, it's Korean built, you know, it's nice components on the guitar. The pots, the caps, pickups are all American, USA, nice quality, and the tuners. So you get that combination, you got a winner. So yeah, good for you. Anything else there, Wesley?
Yeah, Brazilian Bossa Nova says, in the past, Mimi Fox told me she lived very lean, did not even have a TV, and had to sell about 20 to 30K CDs to get booked into the top jazz festivals. I chatted with her at Monterey.
20 or 30,000 CDs? Huh.
I'm guessing, yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, I got the impression she was on a gig treadmill. She does teach at jazz school in Berkeley, also when not on the road.
Yeah. Yeah, so you got to be on the road. Well, that's interesting. Didn't own a TV. I remember being at GIT and a guy that taught their bass player, his name, Alexa. I think Alexis. It was like the Alexa, you know. That was his name. He was a foreign guy, I think. But I'm screwing this all up. But a very nice guy and wonderful bass player. He said, I bought a TV and I gave it away. He said, the problem is, I said, what, you didn't find anything on there you liked? Oh, yeah, I liked it all. And I realized this thing is going to soak up a lot of my time. I need to practice. I need to listen to music, not watch TV. So he got rid of it.
David Bronson asks, any tips on using a looper to get the most out of your practice time?
Yeah, but always, when you use it, always make sure you don't use any pre-recorded things. In other words, when you're going to practice something, lay down the track yourself. Hit the button. So you have the experience of playing the rhythm parts and then messing around with the looper, as opposed to just always having the same rhythm part and not doing the work to do that. That's the problem with Band in a Box and iReal Pros. The tracks are done and you just kind of float over the top. Tracks sound bitchin'.